This client commissioned us to build a dining table inspired by the Columbia River that they can see when they look out the back of their home. On top of that, this job was a rush. They ordered it in September and paid a rush fee to ensure that we could have this table delivered and installed into their home before Christmas. For a wood species, they selected a piece of Oregon black walnut. So we've done a few jobs with this material recently. It's different than what we get from GL veneer in that it's not usually the same Clara walnut or black walnut that we're getting, but it's a slightly different subspecies of walnut that is known for its really rich color and often like dramatic grains. You see a lot of figure in the Oregon black walnut, and it's just a really fun material to get to work with.
I don't like when that happens. All of a sudden the camera's just in my eyeballs and it's making me deeply uncomfortable. Hope you're getting all this.
And like I mentioned at the start of this video, being that this table is inspired by the literal river outside the back of their house, they of course had to go with that traditional river design. So our preferred way to achieve that look is always by using one wider slab that you can split down the middle to flip those edges in. We have done it before where we're using multiple slabs, but sometimes even with slabs from the same tree, you can get a little bit of variation in color and grain. So whenever possible, it is ideal to be able to yield all of your material from a single piece. After we get it cut up, we can put it onto our Avid CNC machine and take off all that excess material on the surface for anything that's not sitting flat. We always like to get our slabs perfectly flat to sit in our molds just so we're not wasting resin that's going to get underneath the pores. And the nice thing now these days is we only have to partially flatten one side of our slabs because of our giant SCM planer. This has been a huge game changer in terms of labor, and we can take something that would take us 4 hours and have it done in like 10 or 15 minutes now. Another helpful tip that I'd like to recommend is that if you have any rough sawn areas on the underside of your slab, like you're seeing Lechic sand here right now, it's critical that you do sand those if you're doing any kind of colored or clear pour, because if you leave those dirty and completely rough, we've had it happen before where the resin actually kind of picks up the dirt that's in there and you get like this brown cloud that bleeds out from those dirty sections. Now that the slabs are all cleaned up and taken care of, we'll get them lifted up with our forklift into the pour room and get them clamped down for that initial pour. Since we're going for the river look, we're orienting the slabs with what we call live edge up. So that just means we're looking at the angle of the live edge and we're orienting it so you can visibly see it when you're looking at the top side of the table. And in our opinion, this gives an added dimension to the entire appearance of the table. If you had those edges flipped with live edge down, you would not be able to see the thickness of the slabs and get an idea for the depth, whereas having it with live edge up, it just gives you that three-dimensional appearance to the entire table. And to further bring that out, we're doing a base layer pour. So for this, we usually pour about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick, and we let that partially cure before pouring the top layer. So that does two things. It allows our client to achieve their desired color thereafter, but then also maintains the visibility of those edges I mentioned earlier. To make this piece even more interesting, we're applying some heat, just using a hairdryer and some heat guns to that base layer once it's partially cured. So we wait until it's the consistency of like syrup or honey, and then we're just manually blowing on the surface to distort the resin and give even more interesting patterns. Once we finish that, we then immediately come along and pour the top layer while that bottom layer is still soft. And the timing of that is critical to ensure that you get the proper look out of a base layer pour. If you do it like I just described, where you're pouring when it's soft, the weight of your top layer will actually deform the resin on that base layer and give you even more texture and depth to the layer.
Ooh, look at that. Let's go, dude. It's so wholesome. I love hearing your inner monologue, Lechic. Why make tables so big?
However, if you let your base layer fully cure, you're going to have to sand it before you apply your top layer, and then you're not going to get any deformation that takes place, and you just lose that added element. Once both of our pours have been completed and we've allowed them to cure for 7 days in the form, we can get the table popped out and put it back onto the CNC machine to repeat that flattening process. And from there, we can get the piece cut down to its final size, which was quite large. This is a 12-foot by 4-foot dining table. So that's going to give our client the ability to have 5 seats down either edge of the table and then 1 seat on either side. Sort of the general rule for seating arrangements is a minimum of 24 inches per seat, but preferably if you can have 28 inches, it's going to give you that little bit extra elbow room just to allow for more comfortable dining. After the piece has been sized, we can flip it over to the underside and begin laying out for the plates that will allow us to attach the X base to our piece. For all of these pockets, we do them 2 millimeters oversize in each direction, and that's just to allow for the expansion and contraction of the wood slab. If you cut these out at the exact size, when that slab goes to move, it's going to kind of bind things up, and there's a chance you could actually crack your table. And now that all the detail work is taken care of, we can get this piece lifted upstairs into the finishing area to begin our finishing process. Some tables end up just seeming like they're cursed when it comes to the finishing. For whatever reason, we could not get the finish perfect the first try on this table, and I think we ended up refinishing it like 3 different times. We've had a few tables in the past that this has happened on. We had one for JB Smoove, we had it happen on Joe Manganello, and both of those pieces ended up being finished multiple times to get that perfect result. Now, I will say, one of the times this had to get refinished wasn't our fault. We had a course going on over the weekend, and I think one of our students just couldn't help themselves and they touched the piece while it was still wet, so that was one of the times it had to get sanded. But other than that, it was just on us. We just weren't 100% happy with how it looked, so we'd resand it and do it all over again. Now, for this finishing process, there's multiple products that are involved. We first seal the table using our furniture oil because that's going to bring out the maximum color in the grain, and it's just going to go way farther and spread easier than the next product we're using, which is the UV Cure Finish. That UV Cure Finish is a little bit thicker, but it dries really hard and instantly with exposure to a UV light. Once we've applied 2 coats of that, we can then come along and do the final step, which is our ceramic coating. The ceramic coating does a few things for our surface. As you can see, it makes the table look way better than without it. It's going to bring up the contrast in the wood and bump up the clarity in the resin. From there, it's going to make your surface hydrophobic, so all the liquids are going to want to bead up and wipe off really easy without leaving a stain. And finally, it's going to give you increased UV protection to make sure that those colors never fade in the wood or the resin. Before we can get a look at the finished product in our client's home, we need to construct the X base that's going to sit beneath this table. This base design has by far become our most popular base that we offer. I think it was back in 2018 or 2019, we had a client who was looking for a pedestal style base made from solid wood, and he liked the idea of having 2 X's joined together. That was essentially as far as his request went. And from there, we came up with a design, we sent him a drawing, he loved it, and after we posted that first video on our channel, it kind of just became like the gold standard for a Black Forest table. Our clients love it because just like that original customer requested, it gives you full options for seating arrangement all the way around the table without really compromising where you can put a chair, and it's also very stable. So even though it has this pedestal centrally mounted design, you can have someone sit on the outside corner of one of these pieces and not have that table flip over. Since we've done so many of them at this point, we have a whole bunch of different CNC programs created that we can easily tailor the base for each table that we make. Depending on the size, we do modify our base to make sure that there's perfect clearance all the way around, and just because we've done so many at this point, oftentimes we've already got that program ready to go. This base is constructed in 3 stages in terms of the glue up. First, we glue up the 2 individual pieces that are going to form the small X. So those just get butt together with dowels in there, and that will cure in the clamps for 24 hours while we work on the larger X. The larger X is assembled using a half-lap joinery where everything fits together, and then finally those 2 small X pieces that we glued up first sandwich over everything to create our X base. From there, we're applying a blackened finish to this base. So again, this color has kind of become the gold standard. I think the clients really like it because it's unobtrusive, it doesn't compete with any of the colors in the top in terms of like the walnut or the resin that you have going on. Yet, because we're using ash, it still looks like real wood. It's got a really coarse grain and it shows that you have a solid wood base construction. When the tables get 12 feet long and larger, we recommend the addition of a metal dowel in our bases just to give more stability.
How many different grits did you use for that?
80, 120, 180, 320.
So these actually go all the way through the top arm of the base into the bottom arm, and then we plug that hole with a solid wood dowel, and it just prevents movement from the top and bottom half of the base, stopping our tables from wobbling if our clients ever bump into them. Before we added these braces in there, if you gave a bump or a push to the edge of the table, it would kind of wiggle back and forth for a few seconds, whereas this just helps to stabilize everything.
The tape is basically just on fire.
Yeah, it's like melted to the bit.
We like to use threaded inserts, again, just because it's going to allow our clients to take this table apart and reassemble it as many times as they need, should they ever move. And they also are going to work well with the steel plates in our base to allow for expansion and contraction. So not only is the recess in the underside of the table bigger than the plate, but the plates themselves have slotted holes so that when this table does move, it's completely free to do so.
You all tight?
Let's just wait for good.
Isn't it quick to the middle just to avoid like any?
Sure.
And now it is time for the journey off to Revelstoke to get this table delivered to our customer. So we had to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure we could get there on time, and we're a little wary of this drive from one of our last deliveries out here, where Haley and I were on the way back and we got stuck behind some avalanche control, and we ended up parked in one spot for like 6 or 7 hours waiting for them to clear the highway. So fortunately, that didn't happen on the way there. We got there in good time, and we were able to start getting this table unwrapped and lifted into the client's home. I have to give a thank you to HR Pacific. They were the construction crew on site, and they had people there that were able to give us a hand lifting this in, so we didn't have to take our entire shop to lift this beast of a table into our client's home. Now, the other thing you might be noticing is this kind of looks like an active construction site, and this delivery was taking place less than a week before Christmas, and it was the plan that the clients were supposed to be eating their Christmas dinner in here. And I'll be honest, a lot of us on site at the delivery were sort of scratching our heads at how that was going to happen, but obviously HR Pacific is a great company. They did an amazing job, and it turns out that our clients did successfully have their first Christmas dinner on this table in their new home.
Do we want to take more off before we... No, right now this is where
This is how we'll carry it?
This is just foam and wrap right now.
Okay.
So,
And then our black felt or whatever is there too?
And now we just got to not let it touch the ground if we want to reuse it.
Yeah. Now, the home itself here outside of the table is just spectacular. It is right on the edge of the Revelstoke ski hill, and it's basically built into the side of a mountain. Apparently the concrete had to go like 60 feet into the stone of the mountain to actually make this structure stable. Then it's all hands on deck to get this tabletop lifted in. This is always the hard part and where we need the help. So we get it lifted in, we can set the table on edge. From there we can get the foam taken off, position it over our base, lining up our plates with those recesses in the underside, and we always like to leave that foam or felt on the surface for the final reveal. Okay, so we made it to Revelstoke. It's 10:09, we've got the table delivered. We left Calgary at 5 o'clock this morning, and the highway is going to be closed at 5 p.m. for avalanche control, so we're going to be able to make it back in time, which is good. But the star of the show here, the table. We've got it delivered to our client's gorgeous home, and it just fits the space perfectly. So we've got the Clara walnut or Oregon black walnut for the top here. This was one piece that we ripped down the middle, flipped the edges in, and then created a river. We've got the metallic blue base layer, and then sitting beneath all of this, we have our black and ash X base. And then of course, to finish everything, we've used our Black Forest LED UV cure finish, and then topped it all off with the ceramic coating for more durability. So huge thank you to our client for the trust in letting us create such a special piece. And I'm stoked that they're gonna get to use this for their Christmas dinner. And we'll be sure to include some of those shots at the end of the video here after they've got this place a little more wrapped up. But thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. So to recap, this is a slab of Oregon black walnut that we've split down the middle to create the river flowing down the center of the table, which was inspired by the Columbia River sitting right out behind our client's property. The base is made from black and ash, and we've used our Black Forest products to do everything on this table, from the resin, the furniture oil, the LED finish, and the ceramic coating. As always, we would love to hear your thoughts on this piece in the comments below. Another helpful tip that we've encountered, another helpful tip that I would recommend is if you have any rough sawn areas on the another helpful tip